Hi everyone, Ravatogh Research Team here. Today we'll be talking about our Final Fantasy 15 theory on Kenny Crow and just what it is that goofy guy might be up to. And by the end of this video, you might be convinced that he's not so goofy anymore. Major spoilers ahead. So, Kenny Crow is the eccentric mascot for the Crow's Nest Diner seen throughout Lucis while you play through Final Fantasy 15. While he is seen just as a statue in the main game, he does make physical appearances in the Moogle Chocobo Carnival, Assassin's Festival, and Comrades DLC. At festivals, he can be seen dancing around comically and even pulls a couple pranks on Noctis. His whole demeanor is funny and his eyes, well, his eyes could bore holes into your soul. While Kenny's comic relief is a great addition to Final Fantasy 15, we suspect there's a lot more to Kenny than meets the eye, and his comedic act is the perfect cover for Kenny's true objective, aiding and abetting none other than the villain of the story, Ardyn. Haven't you ever wondered how Ardyn was always one step ahead of the bros, waiting for them at the most convenient of times? Regardless of the circumstances, he seems to always know exactly where Noctis is. He's not omnipotent, so what gives? We think he has friends in high places, and one of those friends lives at the Crow's Nest Diners, who is always waiting for you at nearly every rest stop in Lucis along the way. Kenny freaking Crow. We'll get back to aiding Ardyn in a bit, but first we need to discuss Kenny's very existence and why it's entirely possible he is a higher being, a messenger. First up, statue possession by souls. This is something we see happen in the Kingsglaive movie when the old souls of past Lucian kings aid in the defense of Insomnia by possessing the Titanic-sized statues posted throughout Insomnia. Furthermore, this is the core idea and function of Magic Tech Troopers. We learn in the events of Chapter 13 that Magic Tech Troopers are real human and animal souls processed with Star Scourge and then placed into stone and metal trooper bodies. You have to wonder if there's some level of consciousness left in these souls because of the unearthly screams the troopers let out when you put them out of their misery. This statue soul possession idea is explained in even more detail during the events of episode Prompto, when we find out Diamond Weapon is the product of countless souls who have been forced into the Diamond Weapon's shell, and even juicier, Verstale himself inhabits his masterpiece, Immortalis. Immortalis is the epitome of stone and steel, a massive machine bent on destruction. Regardless of the statue or machine's purpose, the fact remains that within the Final Fantasy 15 universe, souls can possess things. We even see that it is possible for messengers to possess things like Carbuncle and his little statuette. So, after laying out all of these examples, Kenny being a real being who can possess Kenny Crow statues doesn't seem all that strange. But just what is Kenny? We have a firm idea of just who and what he really is. Now, it is not exclusively just Kenny Crow stealing the show with his shenanigans. There exists another being who is not often shown but is part of the whole Kenny Crow business chain, and she is Kelly Crow, Kenny's very cute sidekick and TV star. So two beings exist, a male and female, and both are called Crow. This all sounds very familiar. In fact, it sounds just like the real Norse mythology of Hugin and Munin, who are a pair of ravens that fly all over the world Midgard and bring information to their master, Odin. The ravens tell Odin everything they see and hear. Odin sends Hugin and Munin out at dawn, and the birds fly all over the world before returning at dinner time. And what is the Crow's Nest really? A safe place to go rest, eat, and gain information. A nest. In Crow's Nest Diners, the adage, "the nest you can always fly back to," can be seen. Crow's Nest Diners are quite literally Kenny and Kelly's nest. And what is always outside each and every crow's nest? Why, a Kenny statue, of course. What better way to fly around the world in order to see and listen in on many going-ons than a large chain of diners which Kenny can inhabit statues in at will? So, if Kenny and Kelly truly are inspired by Hugin and Munin, it begs the question, is Odin possibly a missing piece of the old lore as well? We certainly believe so, and here's why. The Big Bang artwork made by Yoshitaka Amano is one of our bigger pieces of evidence for Odin's existence in this story. Now, the original artwork by Amano portrayed this figure astride a horse that we always felt looked strikingly similar to past artwork of Odin by Amano, but it's always been up in the air amongst the fan base as to who his identity really is. However, at a recent art exhibit held in Japan, a huge painting of Big Bang was present, and wouldn't you know it, there was more to the original artwork than we had all originally seen. Several additional figures were revealed, and one of them is unmistakably Raiden's horse. Raiden is Odin's revived form from Final Fantasy VI. Now, we only ever hear about the Hexatheon, the Six, during the events of Final Fantasy XV. Are the Six really the only astrals to ever exist in Eos? Well, during a recent update to Chapter 12, Shiva reveals a tiny bit more backstory about the Astral War, and several new, unknown figures are seen in this cinematic. And let's not forget about the recent addition of Bismarck to the game. He's definitely something of a higher existence. The traces and cookie crumbs are all there for the possibility of other astrals. But if Odin is meant to be part of the lore, where is he? If you've seen our theory video on the Assassins Festival, we discussed that Bahamut might not have the best intentions for our Chocobro heroes. He only cares for his own agenda. Bahamut's plan to save Eos works for him in the most efficient way possible, and he cares not for human life. And, of course, he is the victor of the Astral War, which gave him leeway to smear Ifrit's name, labeling him a traitor, and authoring the cosmogony. And, as we said before, what is the number one rule of war? The victor writes history. It's entirely possible that during the events of the Astral War, Odin was present, stood on Ifrit's side, and was slain for his acts. And now it is in Bahamut's best interest to shroud his existence. We hope Odin, or maybe even Raiden, will make an appearance in a future update. So, back to Kenny and Kelly. If their master is indeed Odin who perished in the Astral War, then it would make sense if it now fits their agenda to serve another master who is on the wrong side of the divide between the astrals. Arden and Ifrit clearly oppose Bahamut's plans, and Arden's intentions are never truly made clear. The next tidbit we'll be discussing was the biggest turning point for us in confirming our suspicions about Kenny. But first, we must give credit to YouTuber Finra Milogi for her amazing theory on episode Prompto. Her theory is that perhaps Arden was masquerading as Aranea in order to push Prompto along his journey to Corellia. There are just too many coincidences that occur that there isn't at least something odd going on. We highly recommend you check out her theory. It's a great watch and so well made. We'll leave a link to it down below. Now, Arden pretending to be someone else is something we see occur for certain 3 times.
Prompto! How long were you in the dark?
At last you have arrived, Noctis. The gods have shown you their favor. As blood of the Oracle, I present you your father's glaive. Now, go forth, my king. Shine your light unto the world.
Spare me your sycophancy.
I've indulged your false heroism for far too long.
You tried to save the world in my stead, but it wasn't enough. The crystal chose me, not you. Aw, rejection hurts, doesn't it?
Well, what have we here?
You, Arden.
Oh dear. Was I that transparent?
It is completely in the realm of possibilities that Arden was indeed assuming Aranea's form. During the events of episode Prompto in the Magic Tech facility, players can find an old tipped-over Kenny statue. Do you guys see how ridiculous it is that the statue is here? The facility is solely for making Magic Tech troopers and working on experimentation for new Magic Tech. It seems so odd that in this sleek and tightly maintained military facility that the Empire is holding onto this dingy mascot statue. The only real traces of human life present in this facility are the ebony coffee machines and occasional break rooms. The bare minimum needed for humans to function and work is all that exists here. And then we learn from Aranea that she received intel about which facility Immortalis is at and she plans to destroy it. Now how the hell did she get intel on Immortalis? Who would have been able to give it to her? That sounds an awful lot like a spy. And why would Aranea even care to have a spy in these facilities? She cut her ties with the Empire. We find out through journals left on the ground that all the people working in these facilities ended up being used to create the monstrous diamond weapon. The same diamond weapon that attacked Insomnia only a few months prior. The only living people left in these facilities at the time of these events are Prompto, Arden, Verstale, and Aranea, and of course, the Kenny statue. The wear and tear on this Kenny statue is the same damage that we see all across the war-torn countryside of Lucis. The war that occurred 30 years before the events of Final Fantasy XV left most of the Lucian continent outside of Insomnia's walls devastated. It would make sense if this Kenny statue was hauled back to Growlia around that time as a spoil of war. There is even a newspaper clipping stating when the facility was made, and it fits this timeline. Now, if that Kenny statue has been in Growlia for 30 years, that could have some major implications on Final Fantasy XV's story. Let's connect the dots here, guys. 1. Kenny is here in this facility. 2. Arden/Aranea have some sort of informant in this facility. 3. This is the facility where Prompto was born. What if the Lucian who took baby Prompto was Kenny? It's easy to assume that Arden is the one who took Prompto, and if that is the case, then episode Prompto would have been the ideal place to reveal that. But it's clear the devs intended to leave the Lucian's identity a secret for the time being. One more source of evidence for Kenny's divinity lies in the Comrades DLC. If you visit Old Astalum, which is home to the original Crow's Nest Diners, you'll find a note on the door. So the note says that Kenny and Kelly have left for now, which is to be expected. Nearly everything is closed down during the World of Ruin events. But there's one more detail to this scene that not many people have seemed to give it a second thought to. Where is the giant Kenny statue? He's freaking gone. Like, he got up and just walked away. And the cherry on top of this is that Kenny himself will show up as an NPC to help you fight on Comrades. You might want to argue with us here that it's just a glaive in a Kenny suit being silly. But no! When is the last time you saw glaive using salmon swords? Make no mistake, this is the actual living, breathing Kenny Crow helping you fight back the darkness. Next up, episode Kenny. Probably the best idea for DLC ever made. Episode Kenny turned out to be an epic April Fool's prank posted by the Final Fantasy XV Twitter team. With the announcement came a DLC menu, key art, and even a quick video detailing gameplay. So yes, this is a joke, but the lengths the devs had to go to make this joke is over the top. Think about it. They had to assign team members to make the gameplay and even pay an artist to make the key art. We think that it's possible that this isn't just a joke, and what we saw for episode Kenny was the groundwork for a future update. Just like the 2017 GDC trailer, so far nearly everything we saw in that video has come to Final Fantasy XV as some sort of update. Maybe we have a Messengers expansion to look forward to in the future. So that's it for us today. What did you guys think? Did we maybe change your opinion on Kenny Crow a little bit? We'd love to talk more about this subject, and we think that there are a lot more people in League with Arden than just Kenny. If you guys think you'd be interested in a follow-up video on this, please let us know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or even subscribing. Thanks for watching.
Come back soon. Kenny's waiting for you.